Let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever been totally into a guy? Things seemed great, and then suddenly he pulls away like out of nowhere. You're left wondering, what did I do wrong? Here's the truth no one's telling you, and it might sting a little. Most women believe that being available, accommodating, and constantly proving their love is what keeps a man interested. But guess what? That's the biggest relationship myth out there, and it's actually pushing him away. If you're doing everything right and he's still drifting, the problem isn't you. It's the story you've been sold about love. This video is about to flip the script. I'm going to show you what truly hooks a man on a deep emotional level. And no, it's not playing games or changing who you are. It's about unlocking the power of magnetic self-worth, the kind that makes him think about you when you're not even around. Because if you're tired of breadcrumbing, mixed signals, or watching your situationships fade into ghost town, stay right here. You're about to learn how to shift from chasing to choosing. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly how to become the woman he never forgets. Grab a tea, turn off your distractions, let's rewrite the rule book. It all starts now. So let's talk about something that confuses almost every woman at some point. Why men lose interest. You meet a guy, the chemistry is real, the conversations flow, he's consistent at first, and then suddenly things start to shift. He gets a little colder, less responsive, he's not initiating as much. You start to feel that weird gut feeling that something is off, but you can't quite put your finger on it. And then slowly, or suddenly, he pulls away. But now your mind goes into overdrive, trying to figure out what happened. Was it something you said? Did you text too much? Were you too available? Should you have waited longer to sleep with him? All of these questions swirl around. But here's the truth. It's not always about what you did. It's often about how you showed up energetically. Here's what most women don't realize. Attraction isn't just built on looks, fun dates, or chemistry. It's built on polarity, the emotional tension between your energy and his. And when that polarity fades, so does his interest. Men naturally crave a sense of purpose in relationships. And when things feel too predictable, or when he senses that you're trying to earn his love or prove your worth, it can make the connection feel more like a job than a desire. The flip side, when you stop focusing on keeping him and start embodying your value, something shifts. You create mystery, depth, and emotional space. And that's what hooks him. Not because you're playing games, but because you're living in alignment with your self-worth. See, most women go into over-functioning mode. They start texting more when he texts less. They try to get closer when he pulls away. But that creates a dynamic where he's chasing freedom and you're chasing him, and no one is truly connecting. What works instead is doing the opposite. When you sense him pulling away, don't panic, don't react, observe. And most importantly, redirect your focus back on yourself, your life, your joy, your alignment. That's what keeps your energy magnetic. When a man feels that you're grounded in your own identity, that you're not emotionally dependent on his response, he becomes intrigued again. Why? Because you're no longer in pursuit. You're not seeking validation. You are the validation. That's powerful. That's rare. And that's what makes you unforgettable. So flipping the script isn't about becoming cold or playing it cool just to get a reaction. It's about understanding that your value doesn't rise or fall based on someone's inconsistent behavior. The more deeply you believe that, the more secure and attractive you become. You may have pulled back, but that doesn't mean the story is over. It just means it's time to rewrite your role in it. From proving to choosing, from reacting to responding, from fear to feminine confidence. And when you do that, when you become the kind of woman who doesn't chase but attracts effortlessly, he feels it. And that's when things start to change. Let's keep going. Now let's get into what high value women do differently, because this is where everything starts to click. When people talk about being high value, it's often misunderstood. It's not about being perfect, playing hard to get, or following some list of rules. It's about how you carry yourself, how you move through life, how you make decisions, and most importantly, how you respond when things don't go your way. A high-value woman doesn't chase validation. She doesn't obsess over someone liking her back. She walks into a room already knowing she's enough. And that energy changes how everyone around her sees her, including the man she's interested in. She's not trying to impress. She is the impression. One of the biggest differences is emotional control. When a man pulls back, the average response is panic, texting more, seeking reassurance, replaying every interaction. But the high-value woman doesn't spiral. She takes a breath, leans back, and lets him come to her. Why? Because she's not operating from fear of loss. She's operating from inner security. She knows that someone stepping back is either making room for deeper connection or revealing their inability to meet her where she is. She also knows how to set boundaries without being aggressive or dramatic. She's clear on her standards, not because she wants to test a man, but because she honors herself first. And that self-respect is magnetic. Men can feel it. It's not about playing games. It's about having a standard and sticking to it. No matter how attracted she is. Another thing she does differently, she doesn't make the man her entire focus. Her energy isn't orbiting around him. It's grounded in her passions, her friendships, her growth. When she shows up in a relationship, she's adding value, not looking to be completed. That creates space, intrigue, and admiration. It's the difference between a relationship that feels like pressure and one that feels like inspiration. High-value women also speak differently. They don't beg or over-explain. They state how they feel calmly and directly. They don't avoid tough conversations, but they also don't use emotions as weapons. That level of emotional intelligence sets her apart from the noise, because emotional safety is one of the most attractive things to a man who's ready to go deep. The irony is, the moment you stop trying to be chosen and start living like you already are, people feel that. Men feel that. You're no longer waiting to be picked. You're deciding if they align with your vision, your pace, your peace. And listen, being high value doesn't mean being cold. It means being warm but not needy, loving but not self-abandoning. It's a balance, and it takes practice. But once you shift into that energy, the way men show up for you changes because you've changed. So if you've ever wondered why some women effortlessly attract devotion, loyalty, and consistent effort, it's not luck, it's not looks. It's alignment. Let's break it down even further, because we're just getting started. When we talk about attraction, most people immediately think of looks, chemistry, or physical touch. But here's the truth. Physical attraction might catch his eye, but emotional attraction is what keeps his soul locked in. If you want something real, something lasting, it has to go way deeper than just looking good together. It has to feel good on the inside too. Physical attraction is easy, it's visual, it's instant, and it fades if there's nothing underneath. It's what sparks interest on a dating app or when you walk into a room. But emotional attraction, that's different. That's when he feels safe to be vulnerable around you. That's when he feels understood, seen, and accepted, not just for who he shows the world, but for who he really is behind the mask. A lot of women are taught to focus heavily on the physical, how to dress, how to talk, how to flirt, how to keep his attention. And yes, that has its place. There's nothing wrong with showing up confidently and embracing your beauty. But if that's the only level you're connecting on, the relationship will plateau fast. Because once the initial spark wears off, he starts asking himself, can I talk to her about my fears? Does she get me? Does she support me without trying to change me? That's where the emotional connection either solidifies or collapses. Emotional attraction is built through depth, not performance. It's built when you share your truth without fear, when you listen without judgment, when you allow moments of realness instead of trying to keep everything cute and controlled. It's when you're okay with silence, with slowness, with honesty. That's the glue. That's what keeps him coming back, not just for your body, but for you. And here's where a lot of women get stuck. They think that if they open up emotionally, they'll seem too needy or too intense. But emotional openness is not about oversharing or trauma dumping. It's about being present and real. It's about being secure enough to say what you feel, ask for what you need, and not settle for surface level connection. It's not about being cool or chill. It's about being true to yourself. On the flip side, when a woman is guarded, performs perfection, or only connects through seduction, she might spark desire, but she won't create depth. And depth is what a man clings to when things get hard. That's the kind of woman he doesn't want to lose. Not because she's the most physically perfect, but because she feels like home. And let's be real, physical attraction still matters. Chemistry is important. But the most powerful relationships are the ones where physical and emotional attraction intertwine, where the passion is there, but so is the peace, where the fire is lit, but so is the foundation. That balance is what creates emotional security, intimacy, and loyalty. So, if you're tired of surface level connections or wondering why someone loses interest after the chase, ask yourself, am I only giving him something to look at, or am I giving him something to connect to? That one question can shift your whole approach to love. Because the truth is, the most unforgettable women aren't the ones who just look amazing. They're the ones who feel amazing to be around, who know how to inspire a man emotionally, not just excite him physically. And once you master that balance, you're not just attracting, you're deeply connecting. And that is where real love lives. Ready to take it further? Let's keep going. Let's talk about something that makes men lean in without even knowing why. Unpredictability. Now, when you hear that word, you might think of inconsistency, mood swings, or gameplay. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about magnetic unpredictability, the kind that keeps a man intrigued, engaged, and emotionally invested because he never quite knows what's coming next in the best way possible. See, humans are wired to respond to novelty. What's too predictable becomes background noise. It's why relationships sometimes go stale, not because anything bad happens, but because everything becomes so routine, so expected, so safe that it loses its spark. The energy fades, the excitement disappears. And when a man starts to feel like he knows everything about you, like he can predict every thought, every move, every response, the mystery dies. And mystery is fuel. Now, unpredictability isn't about being manipulative or hot and cold. It's about being multidimensional. It's about staying true to yourself while also having the confidence to show different sides of who you are. You can be sweet and soft one day, bold and playful the next. You can be nurturing, but also independent. You can be fully available in the moment, but not always available on demand. That contrast creates curiosity, and curiosity is the spark that keeps men emotionally hooked. When you lead a life that's full, when your attention isn't always orbiting around him, when you have your own passions, your own goals, your own sense of joy, you automatically become unpredictable. Not because you're trying to be, but because you're not waiting around. He can't put you in a box. He has to keep showing up to figure out where your energy is going next. And that keeps the chase alive, not in a childish way, but in a dynamic, grown, deeply attractive way. One of the most powerful things a woman can do is surprise him, not with big dramatic gestures, but with energy, a sudden spark of confidence, a playful tease, a new idea, a moment of stillness when he expects a reaction. That kind of unpredictability makes him feel something. And when a man feels something with you, that's when he becomes emotionally connected. On the flip side, if you become too predictable, always answering on the first ring, always available, always responding the same way, there's nothing left to explore. And exploration is how bonds deepen. Think about it. We're drawn to books, music, art, and even people that unfold over time, that reveal layers, that make us feel something new each time we connect. That's what unpredictability does in relationships. It creates space for discovery. So no, you don't need to pretend to be someone else, but you do need to give yourself permission to stop playing it safe. Stop trying to be the perfect partner who's always agreeable, always consistent, always predictable. Start embracing your edges, your moods, your spontaneity. Let your energy breathe a little. Because the truth is, when you keep evolving, when you keep growing and staying connected to your own passion and purpose, you naturally become unpredictable. And when you're unpredictable, you're unforgettable. He'll keep leaning in, keep wondering, keep trying to connect because you're not giving him the same version of you on repeat. You're giving him you in full color, and that's what sets you apart. So if you want to keep the spark alive, not just at the start, but long term, stop being so easy to read. Let him chase the next page. Let him wonder what's behind that smile. That's the power of unpredictability. And when you own it, that's when the magic happens. Let's keep going because it gets even better from here. One of the biggest fears so many women carry is this. If I set a boundary, will I scare him away? Will he think I'm too much, too difficult, too intense? And it makes sense because for a long time, women have been conditioned to keep the peace, to be agreeable, to not rock the boat. But here's what you need to hear today. Having boundaries doesn't make you too much. It makes you powerful. It makes you magnetic. It makes you safe to yourself and to the right man. Setting a boundary isn't about control. It's not about trying to get someone to behave a certain way. It's about knowing what you will and won't allow in your life. It's self-respect in action. It's you saying, I love myself enough to protect my peace, even if it means disappointing someone else. And that's one of the most attractive energies you can carry. The women who struggle in relationships often aren't lacking love, they're lacking limits. They give and give and give until they're depleted. They tolerate mixed signals, inconsistent effort, disrespectful behavior, all in the name of being understanding or not making a big deal. But here's the thing, silence doesn't keep the connection alive, it slowly kills it. Because every time you betray your own needs just to keep someone, you teach them how little it takes to keep you. But when you set a boundary with calm confidence, you actually build respect. You show him and the world that you value yourself. And that invites people who also value you. A high-quality man won't run from your standards. He'll rise to them. He may push back at first if he's used to women over-accommodating. But if he's emotionally mature, he'll admire your clarity. He'll respect your ability to say no, to walk away from what doesn't serve you, and to communicate what you need without blaming or shaming. Now, does that mean you should set boundaries with a sharp edge or anger? No. The most powerful boundaries are the ones delivered with grace, with softness, with calm certainty. It's not about making ultimatums. It's about giving information. This doesn't feel good to me. I'm not okay with that. If that continues, I'll need to take space. You don't have to yell to be heard. You just have to mean what you say. And yes, setting boundaries might cause someone to leave, but if they leave because you expressed your truth, they were never truly choosing you, just the version of you that made them comfortable. Let them go, because the more you honor your boundaries, the more you'll naturally attract someone who wants to love you in a way that feels good, not just looks good. You are not too much, you are not too emotional, you are not too demanding, you are clear, you are whole. And you have every right to ask for the kind of love that aligns with your peace, not your past pain. So the next time you hesitate to speak up, to say no, to ask for more, remember this: boundaries are not walls, they are doors, and they only open to the ones who knock with respect. Let's keep going. Because now that we've set the standard, it's time to create real connection from that place of power. Let's talk about something that most women underestimate and most men crave more than they'll ever admit: emotional intimacy. Not surface level conversation, not late night text or shared playlists. I'm talking about real soul level connection, the kind of emotional closeness that makes a man feel safe, seen, and deeply drawn to you. Not just for a season, but for something lasting. See, we often think of emotional intimacy as something women want, but the truth is men want it too. They just aren't always taught how to ask for it. Most men are raised to suppress their emotions, to prioritize strength over vulnerability, to perform rather than express. So when they meet a woman who doesn't just tolerate their feelings, but actually invites them in, it's disarming in the best way possible. Creating emotional intimacy isn't about asking 1,000 deep questions or trying to get inside his head. It's about being emotionally available yourself. It's about letting him see you first, your truth, your softness, your strength, your contradictions. When you lead with authenticity, you give him silent permission to do the same. A man starts to feel emotionally bonded when he realizes he doesn't have to filter himself with you, when he can be raw, uncertain, even messy, and still be held with grace instead of judgment. That doesn't mean you become his therapist or fix him. It means you create space for honesty, space for slowness, space for emotional realness without trying to control the outcome. You don't have to be the most emotionally intelligent person on the planet to create this. Sometimes it's just about being fully present, putting down the phone, looking into his eyes when he talks, listening without trying to solve or redirect, responding with curiosity instead of criticism. Those small moments build something bigger than chemistry. They build trust. And here's the thing, a man can have a strong physical connection with several people, but emotional intimacy, that's rare. That's what makes him choose you again and again, because when he feels emotionally safe with you, the bond becomes unshakable. You become his peace, his anchor, his soft place to land in a world that's constantly demanding him to be on. This doesn't mean he'll always open up right away. Some men need time, some have been hurt or shut down for years. But if you stay grounded in your own openness and show up consistently with empathy and warmth, he'll begin to trust the space between you. He'll begin to share more, not because you asked him to, but because he wants to. And yes, emotional intimacy also means being able to have the hard conversations, not avoiding conflict, but navigating it with kindness and clarity. The right man won't run from this. He'll lean into it because it feels different, it feels healthy, it feels safe. So many women ask, how do I make him obsessed with me? Here's the secret. Give him something the world doesn't. Not pressure, not perfection, presence. A space where he can drop the mask and still be met with love. That's where real obsession begins. Not with how you look, but with how you make him feel. Emotional intimacy isn't something you force, it's something you build, moment by moment, word by word, breath by breath. And once it's there, everything changes. The dynamic shifts. He stops performing and starts connecting. And when that happens, you're no longer just someone he wants, you become someone he needs.